Who could Clemson play in the bowl season? Yeah, there's rumors swirling around which bowl they could go to and exactly who they play against. The opponents range from one, I think, really good football team to some solid football teams, all the way down to probably one of the worst teams that, well, this particular team has had in a while. And I'll get to that in just a second. Welcome to the channel. If you love Clemson football, I hope you'll subscribe. It is free. Pass it along to all your friends at work, on the forums, on Facebook. I'm getting close to 9,000 subscribers, and I do appreciate your help. All right, let's dive right in. Clemson finishes the season this past weekend beating South Carolina. We're very happy to win the Palmetto Bowl. I know they're bad. By the way, all the Gamecocks are now talking about how bad their football team, and it's no big deal that Clemson beat them. I love the shifting. It's fun. But now Clemson's eyes are on the bowl season. We can talk about how Clemson didn't meet expectations. Duh, we know that. But now we're moving on to the bowl game. Now, as I am looking at who Clemson could potentially play, I will tell you that I am concerned, and I'll tell you why I'm concerned, because these bowl games actually bounce between one, as I said, one really bad football team versus their recent history, all the way up to two teams that I definitely think could beat Clemson. Three teams, in fact. So I'm going to dive into these potential opponents and the potential bowl. There's probably more bowls that Clemson is actually eligible for. So this may be an incomplete list, but as of right now, I'm looking at about 6 bowl games right off the top of my head, or what I'm looking at right off the top of my head, what I'm looking at right now. This is courtesy of Fox Carolina. It's the local Fox affiliate here in the upstate of South Carolina. So I'm going to start off with probably the worst team that Clemson could play. And I don't want to say that it would be an easy win, but folks, even with as bad as Clemson is, as bad as the Clemson Tigers have been this season, I believe this would be a win. I believe it would be the 8th victory of the season, and I believe that so many people would be unimpressed by it. Starting off with the Army Black Knights in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. This would be a few days after Christmas, December 27th. Just to give you a quick overview of Army. So far, they're 6-5. Of course, they're going to play Navy a week from Saturday, as they always do. They play it after all the conference championships. That'll be December the 13th, 3 p.m. on CBS. Navy's probably going to beat them. Navy actually looks pretty good this year. They're 3rd in the American Conference. They're 7-1 in the conference, 9-2 overall. But right now, Army is 6-5. I believe they'll be 6-6. Their losses include losing to Tarleton. I want to say Tarleton, but it's Tarleton State in the very first ball game of the year. That was at home, by the way, 30-27. They did beat Kansas State, which is interesting. They barely lost to North Texas, 45-38, but they got hammered at East Carolina, 28-6. They barely lost to Tulane, 24-17. Now think about that. The 2 top teams in that conference, they barely lost to. They lost by a touchdown in each of those games. They got hammered by East Carolina. They went on to lose by 1 point to Tulsa. Now, you could pause there and say, whoa, hold up, Brian. We have 4 games that they lost by a touchdown or less. I get that. But they still have 5 losses. And for Army, that has not been good, for the past, recent history. Jeff Monken's actually a pretty good coach. So Clemson could potentially play them on December 27th in the Wasabi Fenway Bowl. Next up, Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl versus Arizona State, December the 31st in El Paso, Texas. Now, folks, I'll tell you this straight up. I think that Kenny Dillingham would love to beat Dabo Sweeney. I think Kenny Dillingham can beat this Clemson team. And so when I look at this game, I look at the possibilities, I just kind of sit back and laugh. This Arizona State team did not repeat what they did last year, but at the same time, they're 8-4. They lost to Mississippi State 24-20 in week 2. It was a very close game, the best win that Mississippi State had all season. Gave Mississippi State, how many times can I say that over and over and over again? Wear my mouth out. Gave them some false hope. Now, they did improve this year. Talking about Mississippi State. Anyway. But they lost there. They got hammered by Utah. 42-10. They lost by 8 points to Houston. Believe it or not, they beat Texas Tech. They're the only loss Texas Tech has all season. And then over the weekend, they lost to their rival Arizona 23-7. At this point, I don't know who says they're transferring or potentially sitting out, and that's the case at this point. By the way, for Clemson, Antonio Williams has already said, hey, I'm declaring for the NFL draft. We don't know if he's going to sit out or not. Dabo says he doesn't know. So I don't know who could potentially sit out for Arizona State, but Arizona State would be a tough game. So they're a potential opponent in the Tony the Tiger Sun Bowl on December the 31st. Next up, one of my friends, if you're watching this video, in fact, I texted him this morning. He's from the Tampa area. He's a big USF fan. In fact, I believe he went to school at USF. David, I think you went to school at USF, didn't you? I think you did. I'm sorry that I cannot be so definitive about that. Anyway, Union Home Mortgage Gasparilla Bowl. Good grief. Someone give me some acronyms. That's too long of a title to call out. Versus South Florida in Tampa. It's a home game for South Florida, who just lost their coach, Alex Golish, to Auburn. I think Auburn did a pretty good job getting him. That game would be before Christmas, December the 19th. So let's talk about South Florida. South Florida, they are 9-3. Start off the season by pistol whipping Boise State 34-7. They went to Florida, beat them 18-16. And then the very next week, they got kicked in the head by Miami 49-12. After that, they won 4 consecutive games, including hammering North Texas. North Texas, who everyone is talking about, and sure, I get it. They beat North Texas by 27 points, 63-36. It's crazy. Kind of the head scratcher for them is turn around losing to Memphis. Yes, I know Memphis is not terrible, but Memphis is not great. They're 4-4 in conference. Memphis was 8-4 overall. Their coach just left and went to Arkansas. By the way, Arkansas fans are not thrilled about that, especially when they thought they were going to get Golish from South Florida. I think Golish actually won by going to Auburn versus Arkansas. I think he'd have been fired within a few years, and that's not because of Golish. But they lost to Memphis 34-31. They lost at Navy 41-38. Navy's a good football team. Everyone and their brother is talking about North Texas and Tulane at 11-1 and 10-2. Navy's 9-2, and they have the same conference record as North Texas and Tulane. And I know they're in the conference championship game, but Navy's no pushover. But those are the losses for South Florida. And I don't think that Golish will be. I don't know. I just quickly looked over who they would be playing. I imagine Golish is not coaching in that game. I mean, it's not. No offense, South Florida. It's not a massive bowl game. Maybe he is, and I don't know that. But South Florida could present a problem according to who decides to play, who decides they're not going to sit out. South Florida could be a problem, but overall, I see that being a potential winnable game for Clemson. Clemson could also lose it. I mean, they've proven this year they can lose to about anyone. Next game. Clemson could potentially play in the Pinstripe Bowl versus Illinois in New York Yankee Stadium on December the 27th. So if you're sitting there and you're like, I don't know how I feel about Illinois football. You saw what Brent Bielema last year. Brent Bielema got under Shane Beamer's skin in their bowl game. And it was funny. It was funny if you're sitting there. If you ever find yourself in a game where the rules are working against you, you can get all mad and lose it. You're only going to make yourself look worse. You're going to make yourself look bad. And I know it's easy to say on this side of things. I've had things go against me in games before. I'm sitting there going, y'all can't be. I mean, are y'all serious? It's like, well, that's part of the rules. Okay. But Illinois got under his skin. They are 8-4. It's pretty good for Illinois. They got hammered by Indiana 63-10. They lost to Ohio State 34-16. They lost to Washington 42-25. They lost to Wisconsin 27-10. Losing the Wisconsin game doesn't make sense. I will tell you that. That's kind of a head scratcher. Wisconsin's not good. But they are 8-4. I don't know if Altmaier's sticking around. I don't know if he can leave. I don't know if he can hit the transfer portal. I don't know. I'd imagine that Luke Altmaier could go to a school and make a lot of money if he wanted to hit the transfer portal. But then again, he may play the bowl game and then hit the transfer portal in January or whenever it is that it can hit. I can't remember that timeline. But the Illinois Fighting Illini, that's a potential opponent in the Pinstripe Bowl at New York Yankee Stadium on December the 27th. That's according to Athlon Sports. Oh, dadgummit. I just accidentally got rid of my, oh man, bowl projections. Let me pull that back up. All right, next up. Y'all are going to love. I'm going to save this one for last. I'm going to skip over this. The Pop-Tarts Bowl against Arizona in Orlando, Florida on December 27th. Okay, Arizona, much improved from last year. Of course, Jed Fish was there in 23. They had an unbelievable season. He ends up bolting, taking the job at Washington once Kalen DeBoer took the job at Alabama. And last year, Arizona did not have that great of a season. Okay, they're 9-3. They're fourth in the Big 12. They lost to Iowa State 39-14. They lost to BYU 33-27. And they lost to Houston 31-28. So we have two games that were within a touchdown. And one of those was a really good team. BYU's a really solid team. They're a tough team to play. Very physical. Bear Bachmeier is not easy to play against. LJ Martin's not easy to play against. BYU's a good football team. And they're in the conference championship against Texas Tech. Houston, they're a top 3 team. I guess the head scratcher for me is Iowa State. Iowa State is they're not amazing. So Arizona, they're not an easy game. That would not be an easy game whatsoever. And if Clemson were to play them, in the Pop-Tarts Bowl on December the 27th in Orlando, that could be a very tough game. And very much according, as long as they don't have anyone sit out, Arizona could definitely beat Clemson. They could definitely give Clemson problems. So that's an interesting game. And then the very last game, to me, when you hear the bowl game, you'll hear the bowl game and you're going to be like, that bowl game's not great. And I agree with you. I mean, nor is the Union Home Mortgage, Gasparilla, ABCD, EFG, HIJK, LMNOP, QRS, TV, WX, Y, and Z. Now I said my ABCs. Won't you say them for me, or however the crap it ends. Massive bowl game. It's not a good bowl game. But the opponent, I think, would be the toughest one out of everyone that I've seen so far. And if I'm missing a bowl game, put it in the comment section. Put it in the live chat if you're here live. The Duke's Mayo Bowl. You're like, oh, Charlotte, who cares? Against Missouri, January the 2nd. I believe, hands down, this would be one of the toughest teams I would say that this is the toughest team that Clemson will potentially have played all season long. And some of you are shaking your head going, Brian, you're crazy. That's fine. I've heard that before. Missouri is 8-4. But let me tell you about their losses. They lost by 3 points to Alabama. If Clemson played Alabama this year, Clemson would have lost by about 40 points. They lost 17-10 to Vanderbilt. If Clemson played Vanderbilt, Clemson would lose to Vanderbilt. They lost to Texas A&M 38-17. That was a big loss. They went to Oklahoma and lost 17-6. They have one of the toughest schedules in the country. Oh, Brian, here we go about toughest schedules in the country, SEC. Yeah, I get it. I get tired of hearing about it too. And I also say to teams who's always losing in that conference, and then they want to say, well, the reason we're losing is because you know you're in that conference. And if you don't like being in that conference, when your contract is up with said conference, move to another conference unless you're going to, your donors are going to pour into the football team, hire the right coach. I mean, Vandy's doing it. Indiana's doing it in the Big Ten. I mean, Ole Miss, I know it's an extremely touchy subject. They did go out and get Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin gave them more success in 5 years than they've had in the previous 49. That's not trash talk. That's statistics. That's true. You can go look that up and you'll see that, holy crap, he wasn't just running his mouth. He actually did. So while they're still flipping birds at his plane flying off, and you may feel bad about how he's leaving, how he did it, he did give them all that success. That's the reason they have the confidence they do. Is the guy who flew away to go to LSU. But with that said, this schedule, Alabama, Vanderbilt, A&M, Oklahoma, very few people want to sign up for that. Missouri was competitive in most of those games. And I believe that unless they have a bunch of people sit out, that would be a loss for Clemson. I mean, that would be that may be the toughest game that Clemson plays all year. Even past LSU, they fired their coach, okay? They were so impressed by what he did in Clemson, South Carolina back in, August? They fired him. So, yeah, Missouri's better than LSU. So in my opinion, that would be the toughest game Clemson would play all year, and it would be in the flippin' Duke's Mayo Bowl. So, anyway, those are the bowl games. I'm going to get into the comment section real quick, and then I got to run. You probably have to run too. Big John, good morning, Professor. It would be a shame to play someone that will crush our dreams. How long for a meeting against Slippery Rock? You never know, Big John. It's good to see you, Big John. Thanks for supporting on a monthly basis. And I'm going to take the time to say this. Big John, Roger Parks, and a bunch of other people have actually signed up and joined the channel, which means they pay a small fee monthly just to support the channel. They're like, this guy's independent. We like what he's doing. And if you want to do the same, there's a join button below this video. So click on it. It's affordable. There's 2 different plans. Just go take a look at it. If you like what I'm doing, I hope you'll sign up. Also, very big news coming for the channel. I have a new sponsor, and they asked me not to say anything until tomorrow. And I'm going to tell you right now, it's killing me because they sent some things over to me, and it's awesome. But I'm honoring my commitment. I'm honoring my commitment. But big news is coming out tomorrow. Roger Parks, we need a team that can roll over and add to the legacy. Is Florida eligible this year? Dabo needs a resume boost. Roger Parks, spitting fire this morning. Good to see you, man. Thanks for supporting the channel. We got Willman, the Computer Bowl. Boll Weevil, I hope it's in Charlotte. My sons would get to go. Hey, good to see you, Boll Weevil. Yeah, if it's in Charlotte, it's an easy trip. It's just if they play Missouri. Noah Fifta is my portal quarterback wish, so I hope we play Arizona. Good to see you, Rob Ellen. Pronounced Tarleton. The E is silent. Agricultural State College that my daughter is having a fit to attend, not to be political, but they maintain a conservative atmosphere. Great school. That is very good to know. Tarleton. I did not know. Good to see you, Russ Taxton. Sun Bowl would be a fun bowl. You did that on purpose. You're being a rascal. I vote for the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa, Florida. Merle Hooper. That'd be nice. Chops, yo, B. I hadn't been to Seneca in a while. I need to come back to Seneca. I was looking at Clemson recruiting class. What's going on with the defensive line recruiting? 904 Hurricane. No one knows what's going on with recruiting. No one knows. Okay. Name 5 coaches you want gone. That's another video. It says Garrett Riley. I don't care about the bowl game. Yes, I want to win, but it's the last game with certain offensive line players that I personally won't miss, but I appreciate the efforts though. Next year, Matt Luke will have all his guys. If there were coaching changes, would it be before the bowl game or after? I think after. Is Cole Turner going to be our next OC? We need the 6th star. Number 22 is the best ever. Big John, when he caught that pass, it was a really good reception against South Carolina. I immediately thought of you and busted out laughing. No lie. I think the most coaching changes will be after the playoffs. He's trying to get position coaches from any of those teams. By the way, people ask me, hey, who would you like for Clemson to hire as the offensive coordinator? And I always started out with the offensive coordinator at Oregon. He's now the head coach at Kentucky. By the way, y'all need to go look at how many jobs are still open. It's ridiculous. And the quality of coaches to be able to fill these jobs, no, it's not good. Tim Bro, Duke's Mayonnaise Bowl. Good to see you. Vote for the Sun Bowl. Just say no to Mama Duke. Good morning, B. Did you happen to see Dabo with what looked like the playbook on our last drive of the game? No, I didn't. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It's good. No, I didn't. No, I didn't. It's good to see you, sir. I did not see that. I did not see that. Brian Kelly was more impressed with his win than anyone. I am Norman J. Good morning. Good to see you. I am Norman J. All right, folks. Well, so far, that's a list of the bowls that I'm seeing at this point. Of course, I found that on Fox Carolina. It's a local news channel here in the upstate of South Carolina. If you've seen something else, please let me know. I looked at one other site. It was basically the same thing, but drop in here. Hey, if Clemson went to Charlotte and they played in, yes, the Duke Mayonnaise Bowl, would you go? Would you go? If you live in the upstate of South Carolina, according to where you live over in the golden corner of Oconee County over there near the university, it's about a 2.5 hour drive to Charlotte. If you live closer in the Greenville area, it's about an hour and a half or so. Would you go? Just a question I'm asking. Do you even care at this point? Are you more obsessed with, you can tell from my live chat section, there's a lot of people who's really concerned about the coaching changes and when that will come down the pike. So I think it's going to be, if there's any coaching changes, there may be one coaching change. That's what I'm looking at. But I believe it will be after the bowl game. It will be after the bowl game. So anyway, well, folks, y'all take care of yourself. To answer your question, Chops, not that I know of. I did not get any snow that I know of, but you'll never know. Or who knows, because I was probably asleep if it was snowing. But when I woke up, it was not snowing.